Good morning. It's January 23rd, 2025, and this is day 5. I'm on my patio right here, my hotel I stayed in last night, and the hotel. And anyway, it is So it's 9. I'm starting late. It's 9:40. I slept in because I did a lot of editing, and still new to editing, so it takes a long time. Plus, I had to wash all my clothes and stuff. My dirties were getting dirty and really dusty from all the construction work that I was passing through. Um, so there should be a lot less. So I did all the sink cleaning, and there should be a lot less. So they should stay, clean for longer. But yeah, you always have to get around to washing them off and on, and take advantage of the fact that there's a sink at a hotel that I can do it too. Anyway, short and simple. I made 221 kilometers as of now. I did go about 16 kilometers out of the way, 16, 8 in one direction and 8 in the back, in the other direction to get back to the Thon Tan Junction. I'm actually about 3 kilometers from it right now. I'm in the town called Tien Yen district. So to go back about 3 kilometers, I get on the junction, and I'll be going on the QL 18 south to Kampha. And Kampha is still about 45 kilometers. And Halong, which is the main goal where all the hostels get cheaper and the hotels get cheaper and stuff, is in Halong, and that's 82 kilometers, so that's probably 2 days. I won't do it today. I'll make it tomorrow. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm already packed up. I'm ready to hit the road. I got rid of some of the things I didn't need, like the ropes and this bungee straps that I wasn't using because there's too much infrastructure to be carrying around stuff, stuff like that. I can always pick it up if I need it on the go. So anyway, my bag's packed, and I'm out of here. I'm still here in Tien. I decided I just left the hostel, or the hotel, and I saw this park on the way out. The bridge that I'm supposed to be crossing is right there, and then I'll be turning that way. This is a cool little town, and I thought I'd take advantage of this park and have a few coffees, a Red Bull, and my grapefruit. Anyway, then I'll be hitting the road, so have a good breakfast and then hit the road and pedal, pedal, pedal. So this is my first bicycle trip. Like I said, I'm no expert at fixing these bicycles. I actually did build like a motorized bicycle back in the time of COVID, but I had to learn about engines and bicycles at the same time. And I actually created 2 bicycles. I ended up selling those bicycles on eBay before I left the States. That was about 15 months ago or so. And once I got out of the United States, I realized that everything was so much cheaper. I was back in the States for at least 3 years. The reason why I can do this is because for 3 years I was working in like cleaning toilets and stuff. I said that in the introduction video. And I lived in a tent, and even back in the United States I was a traveler. I actually used to hop the trains, travel around that way. But I started when I was 17, living in the back of my van, in the back of my 75 Firebirds. And that was my introduction to being the homeless life, you know, the homeless traveler life. And I dug it. You know, 8 months I was living up in Olympia, Washington, in a parking lot in the back of my 75 Firebird. Not the best, but I corrected that mistake on my next vehicle. I ended up getting a van, and I did some traveling in the van. Got me to Las Vegas. I lived in the back of the van there. I ended up working in Las Vegas for off and on for 10 years in the casino business as a blackjack dealer, roulette dealer, craps dealer. I ended up being a casino boss, and that was my profession. But through being around all that smoke and people and the ringing bells and stuff, I realized that wasn't my lifestyle. You know, I grew up in the country, and when you grow up in the country, you dream of the city because you don't know what the city is. So once you get to the city, that's when the country comes back out, and you miss what you used to have. And so reverting back to like the traveling and stuff, my traveling was always in the country. I never went to the cities and stuff like that. So so I go from trains. You just hop on a train, go small town. If there's not a train, you hitchhike. I used to rubber ride. You know, rubber riding, rubber tramping is, you know, well, driving. Steel riding is the trains. But yeah, well, that's a little bit about me. I've been in and out of the work world and in and out of the travel world. More steady world. I haven't lived in a house in over 7 years. I've lived in tents on the beach in Hawaii, just as a beach bum for about a year. So yeah, I've never recorded any of this stuff. So more than anything, this is a personal documentation for myself, but others are welcome to join in some of my adventures. Although they're not going to be well edited at first, and the material is going to be really dry because I personally don't know what to put in it yet. But maybe through time, if you guys want to leave suggestions and stuff down in the comments, I'll check the comments on how to improve my videos or anything like that. And don't say plastic surgery, because I beat you to that joke. So, yeah, I'll listen to any suggestions. I'll watch a few videos, and you know, there's some young kids doing just a few months back, Jay and Oreo. I like to watch their videos for some inspiration. They went skateboarding across America, and I think they're doing Japan next. And they did it as a charity to raise money for skateboards for kids that can't afford skateboards. And I think that's really cool. I get a lot of inspiration from them, and just the same way as when I used to hop the trains, I used to watch Stove the Hobo to get all pumped up and, you know, and ready to ride. But God bless his soul. He passed along a few years back, but yeah, he was awesome when he did ride, and he was one of the only content producers out there. I was homeless in Phoenix when I used to go to the library and watch his videos on the internet there. But yeah, God bless his soul. He was a great producer. A lot of people loved him. But yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm getting my inspiration from right now. I won't keep this too long. I'm trying to keep all my videos to less than 20 minutes for sure. That one last night went on too long. But anyway, I'm cutting this short so I can get on the road. Bye. All right, it is 12:25 right now. I'm only 16 kilometers from my starting point, and I just want to stop here because the land is starting to open up a little, and it's starting to get beautiful. Found a nice little rest stop here. Enjoy a little water. I just bought 2 more grapefruits alongside the road, and I also got these little energy squares. They're like protein powder, but they're like hardtack. I got mixed flavors. I ran into them. One brand, it just said like energy squares and stuff like that. And this one's chocolate. They just rip them open. I'll show you. They're like hardtack, like in the military. But they taste real good. Anyway, these are awesome. And so are these. So I'm going to take a break and just enjoy myself here. Look where I'm at. Water. Beauty. I've been trying to think about what I could actually put in as material on my channel. This is just going to be an extra cut. I'm just going to ramble on like I always do. But you know, I could put stories of my life. I've done a lot of stuff in my life, but you know, life is just a continuous thing that just constantly evolves and constantly changes. You know, we all have to live a life. I'm not sure. I know some people think I live an interesting life, but honestly, yeah, I guess I'm doing what I want to do. I've lived some hard times, but those are times I brought upon myself. I used to be a drinker, a heavy drinker, actually. Started drinking when I was young with my father because he was tired of picking me up in the police department all the time. And this is when I was, I think, 16 years old. And they told him, hey, if we pick up your son one more time, you know, in public drunk, you're going to get fined, and because he's under 18. So my dad told me, he was just like, hey, listen, I can tell you not to drink, but you're probably going to still drink. I can tell you not to smoke, but you're going to still smoke. He's like, so if you're going to drink, you're going to drink at the house with me, and after you start drinking, you're not leaving. And I'll buy. I thought, wow, you know, no more shoulder tapping and stuff like this. So I actually did start drinking with my father at a young age. It was good and bad. You know, it was a mixed thing because I got to know my dad. He was always seemed to me to be like, you know, a good Christian father. You know, even though we didn't have money, you know, we were poor. He always made sure that we didn't know it as kids that we were poor. He was a loving father, and he was a good father, and he wasn't an alcoholic. He barely drank at all when I was younger. So when me and him started drinking, he went from a father figure and then to a friend. And I started really seeing that in his life, he actually has done a lot more than I could have. You know, I mean, been in a lot of spots. He was, you know, he was a drug addict. He was, you know, everything I didn't think he would ever was. So, yeah. So that was good to know him. I know you're going to say, knowing your dad's a drug addict? No, he was a drug addict. He's a good father then, but he went through the stuff that I was going through. I could relate to him. And so building that relationship with my father was awesome. But that habit of drinking continued throughout my life. And I was like a genie. I lived in a bottle for 30 years before I climbed out of it. And it was in Hawaii when I moved to Hawaii. It was because I think I hopped off the train in Elko, Nevada, and it was wintertime. I was snowbirding down to Texas because I thought it'd be warmer in Texas, and it was just one of those really bad winters where they're saying it was colder, you know, in Canada than it was in the Antarctic and all this stuff. I'm like, you know, are colder than on Mars. I'm like, yeah, you guys don't know that. But that storm was actually going around me in Elko, Nevada, where I hopped up the train, dipping underneath me, and then just wiping out Texas. And this was quite a few years back. And I decided, well, this would be around 2017, somewhere around there. So I remember an old homeless cat up in Colfax, California. He told me if winters got too bad, Colfax is at the base of Donner's Pass, the Sierra Mountains, where the 80 climbs over to Reno. And he said when winters got too bad, he would just buy a plane ticket one way over to Hawaii, and just because it's always 80 degrees there, always 70 to 80 degrees, you know, and it is. It's 80 years all year long, and in the winters it drops to 70s, high 70s and stuff. People are like complaining that they almost freeze to death. I'm like, no, that's 70, buddy. But yeah. Anyway, that's when I landed. And most people buy a Porsche or a motorcycle when they have a midlife crisis. I quit drinking, and then I quit smoking weed, and then I quit. A year later, I quit smoking. I didn't think I'd do that, but yeah. So, by the grace of God, I did. You know, it's like you're not going to quit unless you're motivated to, and unless you're quitting for someone else, if you're quitting for your family or you're quitting but if you quit for yourself, you're going to talk yourself back into drinking, or you're going to talk yourself back into smoking. You have to do it for someone else, even if that is someone else is a higher power. And I'm not going to be here to preach religion. I want to, you know, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not here to say which religion is right, which one's wrong. We all have our preferences. We're grown up. We're all raised in a different family, and most likely a different religion. Obviously, I was raised Christian just because I come from the United States. But if you're raised in Japan, you'd be Buddhist, you know. And I'm not here to dictate what is what, who's right, and who's wrong. I'm just here to say I quit because I had a revelation that I was like, oh, God is real. And yeah. That's a different story altogether. I don't want to get into. There's just a little bit of my life. And I think I'll cut it there. Yeah, that sounds like, that's good. And okay, let's do a bike update real quick. How is the $100 bicycle holding up now that I'm over 220 kilometers? Brakes suck. I mean, they just suck. They're adjusted once before I took off, and they suck. The derailleurs really suck. And the extra weight on the back is bending out the kickstand. So I might just, I had the same problem when I put an engine on a bicycle. There's really only a few kickstands that actually hold up that additional weight, and they're the ones that kick out underneath and support from both sides. So this might just go. I do need to still do the derailleur, but as long as it's moving forward and hasn't broken yet, then I'm just going to keep moving forward. Yeah, so that's a bike update. $100 bicycle. It's performing like a $100 bicycle. So this is my location right here. I'm about 33 kilometers from my starting point, 6 kilometers out from Camp Pho. This was my mistake last time. The CT06, the thing that's in the road that's in yellow, are like freeways, and bicycles, scooters are not allowed on them, along with other miscellaneous things like farm equipment, yada yada yada. Anyway, I won't be making that mistake again.
exit of Camp Fa is down this way. The QL18 is still that way. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and make the, I don't think I'm going to take this route just because it swings all the way around and then back to the QL18. So I'm just going to, it's a lot shorter just to cut through that way. And try and make it to the coast. It is 3 o'clock right now. And yeah, that's the plan. I'm here in Kuaung. I made it at 3:45. I need to start figuring out where I'm going to actually lay my head tonight. It's going to be a camp situation. I got on Google Maps, did the satellite view, and if I follow this road just a little more, it'll get me out into the sticks. I was just walking up these steps. I parked my bike down there. I wanted to check to see if maybe I could find 2 trees that were separated far enough apart. You can see there are some trees back there. But the fact is that they're graveyards, just like in Japan. And I think I'll try my luck with the little bit of wilderness that's up ahead. Anyway, that's that. And I'm going that way. So what time is it? It is 4:45, and I think sunset is 5:36. So I'm going that way. Yeah, it's pretty awesome out here. I'm glad I made it this way. After all the traffic and stuff, these are the payoffs. And I need to be on that sidewalk on that side. If it wasn't for all the traffic, this would be a very enjoyable place. No, it's beautiful, regardless. And they just go on forever and ever that way. But it is getting dark. And over by this castle-looking thing way out here, right in front of it, between me and it, is a big field of nothing, just undeveloped land. And obviously it must be pretty secluded because people have been dumping their stuff right there. And if they've been dumping there, then it means the cops don't patrol that often, so I could probably have a good night out in the field without being harassed. So, well, one last look. Nice. But I'll go explore down this way first, and if I need to, I'll come back and stay in this field right over here. Alright. Hasta la bye-bye. Okay, it's almost completely dark. I mean, we got a few more minutes of just dusk right now. I'm in the field that actually I was talking about that I was probably going to camp in. For reference, that's the building I was just at, exploring the abandoned area back there, but the ground is flat, small pebbles. And the reason why I came back is right over here, there's a where the people have been dumping stuff. There's actually a clean comforter like blanket, so I'm gonna go grab that, and just as ground cover, and it looked clean. I wrestled through it a little, kind of scoped the area out. There's like a big marsh pit that goes right here, and it's blocking that abandoned area off from this little field here. So yeah, I think this is just undeveloped commercial property. It probably all looked like that at one time. Now there's only a little mound here. So anyway, yeah, I'll grab that blanket and I'm gonna set up camp. And this might not be able to get posted until the next day, but I will sit down and start editing everything together. But last night I stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning, and I really just don't want to do that again. And this field reminds me of when I was in Phoenix. I camped in a field just like this. Trying to get away from the city of Phoenix, I jumped on all the buses and went as far out of town as I could get on a city bus. And the one that went the farthest, I ended up in a spot that has a similar undeveloped field like this. Same type of little gravelly, not big rocks, but just gravelly, gravel. And yeah, so I'll probably have a really good night tonight. It feels good to actually be camping again. I've been a little spoiled with the hostels, and yeah, I just been spoiled with the hostels, man. I got to get back to my hobo roots here. It's in my blood, and it feels good to actually sleep out under the stars. Wow, it's so beautiful. Neat. Okay, guys.